All right, this is how we edit a video. So first we got to go get the video and drop it on the timeline in Camtasia, and you can see that here. Once you get the raw video onto the timeline, what we're going to do is extract the audio. So go over here to Produce and Share and choose Custom Production Settings. Click Next. Choose MP3. Click Next. You can leave this alone and click Next. Now we're going to save it, render it into the same folder that we got it out of. So be sure it's going into the same folder you got it out of, and title it whatever the file name was. This one, for example, is Websites. Title it that, and then click Audio. That's how we're going to do this, because it's just the audio from this video. Click Finish, and it's going to render. It's going to take just a little bit to render. Audio by itself doesn't take that long, but you might give it, 15, 20 minutes. Once that audio has been rendered, we see it here in the folder, and we're going to drop that audio into Audacity. Here it is in Audacity. Now we're going to clean it up a little bit and make it faster. So what we need to do is find a space that is blank. Way over here to the right, I see a nice blank space. So I'm going to click there and zoom in. Now we want to choose a nice blank space, highlight it. I'd like for you to get at least 10 seconds worth, but get the largest space of blank space. Highlight it, click Effect, and then click on Noise Removal. Click Get Noise Profile, and it's going to take just a minute to do that. Once you get the noise profile, click back on the timeline and do Control A. Click back on Effect, and we're going to do Repeat Noise Profile. It'll be here at the top. Once it repeats the noise profile, it's going to do that. It's going to take just a minute to do that and take out all the background noise. Now, click back on the timeline, choose it all, Control A, and we're going to do Effect, and we're going to change tempo. We're going to speed this up a little bit. We're not going to change speed. That'll make me sound like a chipmunk. Change tempo. Click on that, and we're going to click 10 on there. That's going to speed it up 10%. Now if we want to speed it up 5%, we push 5. If we want to speed it up 15%, we'd click 15. But we're going to do 10%, and then we're going to click OK. Now once it does that, we're going to export the audio. File, Export Audio, and we can export it as a WAV. That's fine. Just be sure it's going back into the same folder that we took it out of. And we're going to title it the file name, and we're going to do audio, but then we're going to do 10% faster. Of course, if it was 15% faster, you'd do that. And click Save, and we're going to save that back into the folder. Now, back in the folder, you can see here it is, audio 10% faster. Now let's go back to Camtasia. We've got to make our video 10% faster. We took the audio out, but if we did the video 10% faster in here, it's going to make me sound like a chipmunk, which is why we just extracted the audio and changed the tempo instead of the speed. So to speed up the video in Camtasia, make sure the video is on the timeline. It should still be if you're working on the same project. And then we're going to go to Edit and go to Clip Speed. Now this is at 100%. And we're going to speed this up 10%. So we need 110%. And that speeds it up. You can see the duration is shorter than it used to be. We're going to click OK. Now we have to render it. So go to Produce and Share and choose MP4 only up to 1080. Click Next. Make sure it's going back into the same folder that you got it out of, and title it whatever the file name was, and we're going to do 10% faster. Now once you click Finish, it's going to begin rendering. That's going to take a while. It could take an hour or so for that to actually render. Now once we have sped up the video and the audio separately, we're going to drop those back into a new project. So right here's the audio 10% faster, and here's the video 10% faster. So we're going to put those back into our clip bin of a new project. And the computer's going to take a little bit of time to actually get this done. But once it's there, drop them on the timeline. And there again, that's going to take a while for that to load up. So drop them there and then sit back for a little while that loads up. You can see it kind of populating. Doot, doot, doot. That's because our computer is slow and cheap. Now that we have our audio 10% and video 10% on the timeline, you can see the pattern matches up here. Click on that there and zoom in a little bit. Make sure the pattern sort of matches up and get it as close as you can. And then click on a spike. These are spikes where I snap to indicate where I started and stopped a take. So click on the spike and then take this and drag it and zoom it all the way in. You can see it's close, but it doesn't quite match up. So we need to match it up. Now this may take a little bit of time to actually match it up this close, and it might not match up exactly right. This one happens to match up very close. But mess with it for a little while, get it as close as you can. You're just going to drag one of these to match up the other one. You can see it's a little tough to drag and get just right. Now, you can zoom back out. So slide all the way to the left, and you can see this is the video section. Click on it. Now click audio over here and choose silence. We have silenced the video, and now only the audio from Audacity that we cleaned up is chosen. Otherwise, I would have sounded like a chipmunk. So now we're going to choose both tracks, make both of them blue. Click this one, hold the control button, and click the other one. Now right-click and choose Group. Now we've grouped those both together. At this point, we want to save our work because Camtasia might get a little cantankerous and shut down. So go over here to File, Save Project As. Make sure you're saving it into the same folder that you got both of these files out of, and name it whatever the file name is, and then Working On, because we're working on it, right? And then click Save. Be sure it's going into the same folder that both of those files are in. So now, if Camtasia shuts down, we can save our work. So at this point, we've sped up our video and audio together and mixed them together, so it's not going to sound like a chipmunk. Now let me explain how to edit out the errors. See 2 spikes here and 2 spikes here. What I do is I snap 2 times before I actually attempt to talk. A good take is followed up by 3 snaps. You can see right here in this section, there's 2 snaps, then 3 snaps. That means the audio in between that is a keeper. We're going to keep that. So right here, you can see 2 snaps, then space, then 2 more snaps. That means it's the second attempt by me. Now at the beginning of the video, there might not be 2 snaps. You don't see 2 snaps right here, but that might still need to be kept. Again, use your good judgment as far as what needs to be kept. I'm not always 100% accurate as far as with my snaps. So make sure you're listening to the audio and that it makes sense of what I'm explaining. Don't just cut out the areas that need to be cut out. Listen to it and make sure it makes sense. I'm going to show you how to cut the parts that need to come out. Again, 2 snaps followed by 3 snaps. In between that is a keeper. Outside of that, we're going to edit out. But it has to sound seamless. So here we go. We need to get rid of this section right here, this dead space. Let's zoom in a little bit. After the audio of a good take, and you can tell it's a good take because it's followed by 3 snaps. Let's zoom in all the way, slide it all the way to the right, and then slide out 2 times. Click 2 times. 1, 2. That's going to keep us consistent with our editing. Now, once the audio ends, you can see where it ends right here. We're going to go over about 10 dots. You see these little white dots here? So count over about 10 dots, which would be about right there. So that's where we're going to cut this take, and then we're going to slide over to the next section. You might have to zoom out. Sometimes that helps. Slide over to where the audio begins, and then you can zoom back in one more click to make sure it's consistent. And we're going to get close to this audio. This is about where it starts, but we're going to back up about 5 dots. And that's the section that we're going to cut out. So we're going to cut out this section. You can hit scissors, cut. Now sometimes there'll be a little zigzag line in here, which means it actually didn't cut. It's trying to seam it together. If you see those zigzag lines and it's not 2 separate clips, if it doesn't say 2 separate clips, right-click on the playhead and do split all. If you're not sure if it actually split, you can just right-click on the playhead, and if that's in black, you can click it and it'll split everything. So that's how we cut out the sections that we don't want. And then be sure to listen to the audio to make sure that that sounds okay. So just keep going down the line, do the next section. Right here, we're going to cut out this part. There again, you're going to slide and zoom in, but click 2 times to the left so we're consistent. And we're going to get 5 dots close to this side, 10 dots close to this side. So wherever you begin the edit, you're 10 clicks away from the audio endpoint. Wherever you end the edit, you're 5 dots away from the beginning of that point. And do that to each of the sections. Remember, the section in between 2 snaps and 3 snaps is the keeper section, but be sure to listen to it to make sure it sounds right. After you cut each section, go up here and hit the save icon. That way you're saving your work as you go along, because Camtasia might shut down. If it shuts down, you're going to lose all the work that you've been working on. After you work your way all the way to the end of this video, make sure you save your project, and then we're going to produce it, render it, click on MP4 only up to 1080, click next. Make sure it's saving back into the same folder that you got the files out of, and we're going to name it whatever the file name was. And we're going to do first edit and click finish. Now, when you click finish there, it's going to take a while to render, maybe an hour or so to render that. After it's done rendering, go into the folder and watch the video that you rendered. And when you see any errors, go back into your project that you were working on that looks like this. This is your project. And then you can fix the errors. So as you're watching the video on the other screen or in the other window, note at what time period the error was that you need to go back and fix in the project. So usually you have to edit these 2 times. So after the second edit of the project, and remember we're saving our stuff, saving our project. After the second edit, produce and share, and then you're going to render it as second edit. So we'll just, if you have to do a third edit, you do a third edit. So on and on. All right, that's it. All right, bye-bye.